Hi, welcome back to Kristen here at the Old Millennial, here to answer your questions. Today's first letter is from Sophia in Milwaukee. Let's dig in. Dear Kristen, I just had my first baby. I was really excited about motherhood and even quit my job to become a stay-at-home parent. Now that my son is here, I'm really struggling with how lonely and isolated I feel. Most of my friends don't have children, and those that do are still working full-time. This isn't what I thought it would feel like. Help! Well, first of all, I'll say congratulations. That's so amazing. Babies are such blessings. Second thing I'll say is, oh my gosh, what a shock motherhood is. So many hormones, such a change in your lifestyle with your first child. You go from some office setting or job where you're having adult conversation to having this little baby in front of you that doesn't say anything and is totally defenseless and needs you completely. It's just so overwhelming initially. It's especially so if you don't have someone to share that experience with, if you don't have other mothers that are going through this, or sisters, or someone that you can kind of walk with. I will say that it will get better. It will get easier with time. Your hormones are still all in flux and trying to figure out what's going on. So that takes time. If you are having some dark feelings or just feel kind of out of control or very upset, you might want to actually talk to your doctor about it. And don't be afraid, don't be ashamed of that. Postpartum is extremely common. I think in hindsight, I had it myself, and even though I didn't know it at the time, I just sort of assumed that this was part of the bag of motherhood. But I don't think I necessarily had to go through that if I were aware enough to know that that might have been something that my doctor could have helped me with. So if you think that there's a possibility, don't be afraid to discuss this with your doctor. That's exactly why they're here, and it's totally normal and totally common. It might be very helpful. The next thing I'll say about it is that there are lots of places you can go to meet other moms. It gets easier when they're older, when they're in school, but when you're a mother to a young baby, there are things like the local library, like little play groups and sing-song story hour type things that you can go to, and that's a great place to meet other moms. You can do something at like a local My Gym or something of that nature where it's a kids or baby-centered program, and they're really just for the moms, I'll just tell you that. There's also, I'm sure, lots of places on Meetup for moms of babies. So get on the internet, look what's available, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. It takes a village, it really does. So go and find your village. Your village isn't going to come to you. You got to go and seek it out. So I wish you the best of luck and congratulations with your new baby. My next letter is from Andrew on Long Island, New York. Hi, Kristen. I was married to Amy for 8 years, and we mutually decided to divorce last year. My mother and Amy got along really well, and so my mom was devastated by the news of our divorce. Amy and I are still having an amicable relationship, but my mom acts like we are still married. She often asks how she is, and she tends to invite her to family functions. I'm not sure how much pressure Amy feels to see my mother, but I know that constantly seeing her and being asked about her is grating. I've asked my mother to stop, but she hasn't. Help. Well, Andrew, you know, the thing about families and relationships is that sometimes it's hard for everyone to just break up just the way the couple breaks up. There's often collateral damage. And it sounds like your mom is just really still very enamored with Amy. And that might fade with time, but you might have to give it that time. Much like your mom didn't have any say in whether you two were getting divorced, you don't really have much of a say with who she invites to her parties or her family functions. If it truly bothers you and you've already said something to her, maybe you need to have another conversation and let her know how it feels to be seeing your ex as often as you do when you're trying to, still getting over her. Or maybe she's hopeful that you guys will reconcile since you seem to have a pretty amicable relationships still. I think my advice for you is to just sit down with your mom, explain that it's harder for you to get over Amy when you continue to see her, and you're not quite sure how comfortable Amy is coming or if she's feeling pressured to come, but you don't want to talk about Amy anymore, and you hope she chooses not to invite her to family functions. Now, you've set a boundary as far as discussing Amy. You can continue with that. If she starts asking, how's Amy doing? I'm not going to discuss Amy. I'm sorry, Mom. But the only choice you have as far as going to these family functions is to not attend if she doesn't honor your request. So that's up to her. All you can do is ask and make your own decision as to whether you want to see her or not by going yourself. So I hope that you guys can all find a happy place where no one's really feeling awkward anymore, and hopefully your mom will in time start to get over and feel that separation. And maybe once Amy remarries or you remarry, then things will start to change. But in the meantime, they are what they are, and you can only ask and make your own boundaries and make her respect your own boundaries, but you don't have a lot of ability to make her have change those decisions, do what she wants to do. She's an adult and she's free to do that herself. So anyway, it might not be the advice you wanted to hear, but I think that's probably what's going on. So anyway, if you liked my advice, please press the subscribe button or like my video, and please write to me. I'd love to hear from you and answer your questions. My email is oldmillennialadvice@gmail.com. I hope to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Bye.